You're listening to ArTEEtude, a podcast with artists created and produced by Detlef Schlich, a visual artist and ritual designer, living and loving in West Cork, and best known for his essay about the cause and effect of shamanism, art and digital culture. Working in the field of performance, photography, painting, sound, installations, and film, he will dive and discover with us and a weekly creative guest into the unknown and exciting deep ocean of the creative mind.
This is Detlef Schlich, and today we dive into the unknown and unexpected ocean of the creative mind together with Robert Artaine. Robert Artaine is a survivor from the institutions, and in the last two parts we spoke about the way how children get treated between the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe 70s as well in the institutions in Ireland. I must say, people, I warn you, if you really want just some entertainment stuff, you don't get it. You really get information from a survivor from these times, and it's hard, it's hard. And actually, this is already the third part. We had it already. All the material disappeared because it was corrupted, and I was so involved that I made mistakes, and we had to do it again. So this time is as well different again. We had an hour about deep subjects in the first and second part, and I would like to go now a little bit more into the artistical person of Robert Artaine. So first of all, hi Rob.
Hi, good Detlef. The great thing about being honest is that you can just express exactly how it is coming as it does, because a lifetime of institutional lockup and for something you haven't done. I can imagine how the Birmingham Six felt, but there's no Birmingham Six for us because there's a gagging order according to the redress we're being held to, and the rest of the bullshit we have had to go through to keep quiet. And that's exactly how everybody wants it, for us to be quiet. This is one life we've got.
So okay, so you studied art after that, after all that shit.
Well, you see, Detlef, my art goes back to the institutions again. With anything I could find, I could make a mark. If I could put an indent anywhere, just to leave a mark, just to be drawing. I suppose you might call it drawing, but it's called making marks. Just
mark making.
Yes. I kind of loved the. I love the 1916. The great heroes of 1916, Patrick Pearse, Sean Connery, etc. I'm not going to go into all the names, but my highest respect to each and every single one of them. I bow to and thank them for, and all the Irish families who fought for this great country, for the freedom. I just want to say thank you to them, because something. If they could survive what they did for Ireland, I can survive what happened to me,
Sure.
Because I have children, and I like to live for my children too, just like these and give them a good life like these people did, Yes. And that's why the Irish family is a great family. That's what made Ireland across the waters. Nothing else. The Irish family, not the Irish government.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. They're supposed to be serving the families who pay them taxes. The old days are gone, the dictatorships and whatever. This is supposed to be about service being provided to a nation. The nation is the family. mothers who give birth to the nation, to the fathers who protect the nation, you know, and vice versa, and you know, it's a very confusing word for people like myself, if you like, on gender and all that kind of stuff, racialism, and you know, we suffered a lot of that as well, like, you know, and I like to incorporate a lot of things into my art, and I found I had too much going on in my head, but I was ashamed, Detlef. I was left the institution totally ashamed by what I'm a sinner and I'm good for nothing. I'm going to go to hell. But fortunately, I just said, well, I'm going to swear, but you know, get lost. I thought, you know, I'll go where I want to go. I'll go. That's what made me survive. That's the realm of the survivor.
But you made it. You made it. You made it.
I'll go where I'm going to go, not where the church tells me where to go.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go where I'm going to go. And people said to me, "Do you believe in God?" I said, "Of course I do." But then you're religious. I said, "No, I'm not, because my God is not your God. You know, my faith is not your faith. But I won't follow what you say. I won't follow what he says. I follow what I think I know is right. And I want my children to grow up, know what they feel is right, what they feel is good, you know, and to bring them up and nourish them and support them, you know, and even that's not hard to do. But we didn't even get that. We didn't even get that. You know, there's a great expression in Ireland. It costs nothing to be nice, and yet we couldn't even get that nothing to be nice to us. We didn't even get that.
Yeah.
And that was free to give. That was free.
Sure.
But they couldn't give us that. No. It had to be sin, condemnation, whatever. Now that's why I didn't want to bring my art into that kind of world of anger and frustration and confusion.
But you did eventually. You did. I mean, you studied. Where did you study?
Well, I studied it in Bournemouth. Sorry, get my breath. And I studied in university. I joined a Christian group, and I became strongly in anti-religion, anti-whatever, got to the establishment, I suppose. And this group was as well established in this art group, or what? It was, no, it wasn't. It was actually because I got on my knees, and many times I've been on my knees asking for help, because there was no help. There was no help for a survivor, no help at all. And I had to get on my knees, and because I wanted to stop drinking.
Was 16, so you finished this institution thing with 16, didn't you? Or how old have you been?
Yeah, I came out at 16. I was lost for some time. I got a job by the charity of a very good man, a very, very kind man. There was people who went there with their education. I couldn't fill out the job form, and he said, "Why didn't I fill out the job thing? It's blank." And I said, "Because I didn't know what to put in there. I couldn't even sign my name."
Sure.
He said, "Can you work?" And I said, "Yeah." And he tried me out, and he was so impressed. I got the job done in no time. I never did the job before in my life. I scraped gaskets, and he said, "Oh my God!" He said, "You did that so easy." And I said, "It's work." You know, I was so grateful.
Yeah.
He said, "Look, start on Monday." And I stayed at that same company for over 20 years. I worked hard, and the good thing was I could work on my own, and people would leave me alone. I was kind of isolated in my own space, which was good, and I could just work away. And it was hard work. There were a lot of chemicals and things involved as well. But
how long did you do that? How many years?
Over 20 years, the same company.
Oh,
and
wow.
Then,
that's a lot.
And then I knew
from
I
16 to 36 then.
No, I was on the streets for about 5 years previous to that. So I was,
But when did you study? When was that?
I didn't study till late in life. I studied in in 1993. I went to college. 92, 93.
And
I went to
you
college.
still used to work then?
No, because the drink took hold of me after work. I left the company because I just couldn't handle the suffering deep inside me. You know, I was losing relationships and things weren't going too good. So I thought, look, I went back to the streets, I guess, and it was hard because
Sure.
I just couldn't find any answers in my own
Sure.
life.
Sure.
And I was just working to drink anyway. So
I mean, it's mad. I mean, it is. I mean, look, how many people don't find answers in their ordinary life? You know. So which sense is it to be on this planet? You know. So
But you know, I want to say this though. When I worked on the streets, when I was on the streets, I'd work. Even then, I would knock on the door and say, "Look, I'll dig your garden for a cup of tea, you know, or a sandwich." And they said, well, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, look, can I, you know, it needs cutting or whatever, you know." And I offer help for something, you know, for a cup of coffee or something because you're hungry and thirsty.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people say, "Oh my God, look, I tell you what, come in and have something to eat," and I would, and. I painted doors. I painted, you know, fixed windows. You know, like odd jobs, you know. And people say, "Well," I say, "I don't want to just go knocking and asking for nothing," you know. You know, I always believe you have to do something for something, you know. And but then I got that job from that man, and then I was back on the streets again for a little while, and you know, I just drank a lot.
Sure.
Then I started getting better, and I started going to I said, "Look, I want to go to education." So I started in the college, and I started drawing again and painting again, and that I met some good friends.
And you did it. You did the paintings and drawings as well already in the institution,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yes,
And you painted on the walls, didn't you?
Yeah, I wondered why I was getting into how they found out, but you know, you're a bit naive, and you like drawing Leonardo da Vinci's face or you know.
What did you use for the mark making on?
I used to burn a bit of wood and draw with it on
Charcoal.
walls and things.
Charcoal.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. Homemade charcoal.
So you used to work with charcoal on the walls and.
Yeah. Well, my hands would be black as well, so I couldn't exactly deny it.
Yeah, sure. Did they like it in the
Yeah,
institutions? Did they like
No, he didn't. He gave me a clout for him because they just painted the walls.
Did your brothers did they like it? I mean,
Well, I kind of did it discreetly, but you know, I wondered how they figured that out because there was never anybody around when I did it. But I suppose it's like Banksy, you know, you have a trademark. I was forced to have it. I couldn't stop drawing. And
yeah.
you know,
but what's there as what I'm interested in as well is as you studied art, was there a way where you thought, okay, so I can integrate my time from the institutions into my art making now, or did it put you so off that you completely changed the subject into something different, so identity wise as well?
Well, no, I was so nervous in the college, you see, and I'll go drinking. I was supposed to be sitting down drawing some trees with the rest of the classes.
So you still used to drink in the college?
Fact that I said, I'm going off for a
yeah,
pint
but
first.
they loved it probably.
and the tutors would say, "Look, Robert, you got a lovely draw. You draw so wonderful, but why are you wasting your time up?" And I said, "Well, look, I've got to go up there and have a couple of drinks, and then I can relax a little bit." They couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. If they couldn't understand it, I wouldn't expect them to understand it because I couldn't understand it. But anyway, I used to do some nice work. I did some nice work in Shelley Park, in Dorset. There, and it's a great college, and I was impressed with myself, you know. But I was so nervous around the writing because I still wasn't good at writing.
For the essay or what? For the thesis?
Yeah, the essays. Oh my God!
What was it about? What was it about?
I wrote about William de Kooning and all those
Of a Lonely
American
Heart.
artists, yeah. And Gorky was one. I love Gorky's story. A bit
Yeah.
depressing, but
Yeah.
it suited me at the times, But I wasn't really a depressed person.
Yeah.
When I was drinking. I was a bit of a clown, you might say,
Yeah,
I think
the clown,
I like nothing.
the clown got the blues. It's always the same, isn't it?
Yeah, I was never violent. I just clowned. I was just stupid,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had nothing to lose because I felt so stupid.
Yeah.
And I just
So the
wanted to-
thesis, how many words? It's just, can you
Yeah.
remember that?
Oh yeah, 2,000, 3,000 words or something.
That was
5,000
all
words or
for
something.
thesis.
Yeah, no, that was my essays.
Okay, no,
My
I mean,
thesis I can't remember 5,000, 7,000. I don't know. Can't
I mean,
remember
it's
back then.
just, I don't mind. I mean, it's just interesting.
Definitely, I was drinking at the time as well. Don't forget, and I wasn't very. I was the last one. I was trying to type it out, and all the kids would be in there typing, and I go, "What the hell is this about?" It's a
Yeah.
computer, and
Yeah,
I'd have a sentence done, and they would have done a whole essay.
yeah,
I said, "Well, that's not fair." I said, so. I just said, look, I didn't come to college to be doing this. I came to draw and paint. That's what I want to do, And but I persevered with it. And the
but
tutors was
you're
good.
you're probably not alone. That I mean, it's all the time the same. So my friends, if they're gonna go here
Yeah.
to Sherkin Island, there's a college as well. I just have to make a little bit advertisement for that as well. I studied on
Yeah.
Sherkin Island, and most of us students, they say, "Oh no, I'm coming to drawing and painting, and not for writing essays." So yeah, but you
But
did it.
Yeah, and the amazing thing was I never spoke, even in the job or in college, about the institutions, because you think you close the door, but you don't, because you don't realise you've been carrying that kind of life with you, and you could be a clown in the institutions as well, like you just try and survive. So I've always been cracking jokes.
I mean, if we speak about institutions, I mean, Dublin's institution of technology is an institution as well.
Yes, it
and
was. Well, it was the but it was the young people again, wasn't it? And they were okay. They're fine
Sure.
people.
Sure.
And but it was just.
I
another
would
institution
distinguish
to me.
the name institution in general. That's what I mean. So
Yeah, but the good thing was I couldn't get used to being free, and that was the thing. Like on the streets, I was free. In the job, I was free because I was such a good worker. I didn't have to worry about my job, so I had a bit of leeway there, and at college, and I felt all right in college,
Yeah.
And I made a lot of friends. People seem to like me a lot in college. Actually, they just say,
why not,
"You're gas."
man? Yeah.
They just thought it was gas, but I mean, so I produced some good works though in college.
I
done a
saw
lot of-
your works. Your works are great. I mean, is there a possibility to see your work? I mean, do you have a website now, or are you planning an exhibition or anything?
No, I've done some drawing next to. I used to incorporate drawing with live video, where I draw the person sitting on the chair looking at a monitor, and I would they'd be looking at the monitor thinking they're getting a drawing lesson, and then by the time the drawing's halfway through, they realise they're the subject matter, they're the one who I've drawn. And they're freaking out. They say, "Where the fuck are you?" And I say, "Just shut up and sit still." And they go, "You're so rude." I said, "Well, there you go. How can I be rude? I'm not there. I'm not in the same room as you." And they go, "Well, where the hell are you?" I said, I'm over here." And they just laugh, it's an interaction with my subject, and they enjoyed that. They enjoyed the conversation while I was drawing them, but they couldn't see my face, but obviously I seen theirs, their face, and they could see their own face on the drawing. I wanted to do that I wanted to draw somebody in Times Square, you know,
Yeah.
from England. When I was in England, you know, in Shelley
Okay.
Park, I wanted to draw in Southampton Institution. I
Yeah.
wanted to draw them from where I was in Times Square and probably exhibit it in Japan on a projector, you know.
Which is nowadays very much possible, isn't it?
Well, it is now, but it wasn't available then. I did write it down.
Not then. Yes.
You know,
As an idea.
you see, this is the thing that this is the thing. You know, you're not a stupid person, but when you try to your concepts, your ideas, and they called me the conceptual artist when I was in university.
And you didn't like it, or
I didn't like it, but I didn't quite understand what they were trying to get at. You got to understand that as well, because I just wanted to draw and paint. And I think the most successful piece I did was to draw a boat on the rocks.
What was the draw of?
I took about 20 A1 sheets of paper, and I taped them together when I got to the destination, which was a burnt out hull of a boat. You know, a big rowing boat, a huge rowing boat.
All right.
And, it was all pebbles, and I put the paper on the pebbles, and I took a bit of the boat, and it was black where it had been somewhat burnt at the top of it. It was just ideal. I just I walked up and down drawing the boat on the gravel, you know, from what I could see there. And then I put all the papers back on top of each other and took it into college and hung it up in college.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it was a very successful piece by the tutors anyway.
Yeah.
And but I wasn't there to impress. I just hung it up and went up to the bar again. Because, you know, that's my nature. That was my nature. And they said, look, this is good stuff. Why don't you go into drawing and painting?
That's great. Well, it sounds like actually a good time, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, did you, when we come back to identity, you know, so did you find a way to create your identity now in your in your 60s?
I'll tell you what I did. I used to love the story of Rossetti in the Impression, Rossetti of the, you know, pre-Raphaelites, you know, and his story, and I read about him, and I started thinking about my own story, then all the other artists, and I thought, fuck this, I'm going for a beer again, because they were kind of depressive, like, to read a lot of their stories. But I went and I started studying. When I qualified in Shelley Park with a good merit there, I was quite surprised I passed it even. But I wasn't there for that. It didn't bother me, because I didn't bother with the certificate. I just wanted the time to get back into my art and to really take it serious. I found it hard to do so because it was a lack of confidence. I didn't know that at the time. I'd shake and I'd sweat through lack of confidence.
Did you have in your life any therapy or did
no,
you
never. No, I never trusted anybody. You see, that was the trouble with me, Detlef. I couldn't trust anybody. I'd have a laugh and a joke, and then I'd go home on my own, and I'd get depressed, and I'd crack open a bottle of whiskey and I'd have a few drinks.
So okay. I mean, it was not usual in the what was it in the 70s either to start a therapy. So that came later.
You know,
that came later. You know,
you're young. You're young. You're young. You don't know what you want. You don't know where you're going.
Even the possibilities in the 70s.
They weren't
there.
A lot of people don't understand when you come from the institution. Sorry, talking over you there, my friend. I know where you're coming from, though, and you got to understand. You don't know where you're going, and you don't know where you've come from. So I don't know if you can understand that.
Sure,
you've got no identity. You've got no identity.
I know. I understand that.
You've identity. If you think about what I just actually said, it's going forward in life with no identification, no understanding, Okay? No fear. No more fear. Because you've accepted what's going to happen to you. You know?
Yeah.
You're almost inhuman. You're like a robot. You're empty inside. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And the only thing that you've got left is to you become rich in being honest, being truthful, and never take anything that doesn't belong to you. Don't lie to people, you know, because you have to keep moving forward, not backwards.
Yeah.
And you just move on. And if you don't want to get involved in something, don't get involved. Just move forward. Just keep moving forward.
And why and why this happens like this, dear listeners, I would say, just in order that we don't start again with the whole subject, you can listen to it in the first and the second podcast, because we really explain it there. I would say, I would say now, yeah. It was great, Robert.
But before you go to close on that, I want to talk about the art a bit more, because it is relevant. That the art from a child to now, people say, why don't you produce your art? It's still lacking the confidence to this very day. The exhibitions, you see people.
But you're not alone. I mean, Robert. In that case, I can just tell you there are so many other people who are.
You said something there. You said something. No, you said something there. You're not alone. I am alone in that. I am alone. I know where you come from, and I'm not alone regarding, because there's a lot of good artists out there doing the same thing. And I always said to people, and who I taught people how to draw as well. And I said, listen, make your mark. It's never right and it's never wrong. You make your mark. It is your mark. Nobody has a right to say it's right or wrong. But if it's honest, if it's honest, then it's the best, and you won't beat that. You know, and that's the most important thing. And it is.
Nobody can take your creativity, you know. So and that's the only thing. What you for me, it's the same, you know. I don't give even a shit about mass production. I was on this planet. I was wondering, what is your sense, you know? And my sense is actually to be creative, Robert, you know, because that is a thing what nobody can take me, you know. Nobody can take it. If I sing shit, or if gonna do a shitty podcast, I do it. You know, I don't mind if people love it or not. I mean, it's nice if you guys, on that note, I would say, if it's nice, it would be really nice, guys, if you really come to my shop, ArTEEtude, as an artist. I try to survive as well. You know, I opened a shop, and there you can get all the merchandising, and you can see then as well, there are more informations about that, what happened with Robert. It is ArTEEtude.com. It's ArTEEtude, ArTEEtude.com. You find any information about Robert, including his video, what he made on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and I hope that we will see more artwork from Robert as well, you know. So I would say, first of all, thank you. If you have to add anything else now, Robert, so now it's the last minute.
Well, you know, considering what I've gone through, I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful to a lot of friends like yourself in my life who you know that I've achieved quite a bit.
Sure, that's great. It's cool. I really, no doubt, absolutely.
And I've picked up the guitar now, and I'm only learning 1 year, and I'm now playing all my songs that I used to love over all the years. I haven't been singing for 50 years because of what happened to me in Artane. That's the reason why I use the name Artane. Because I've always wanted to do songwriting. I always wanted to do this. Mr. O'Sullivan, who was my teacher in Passage West, he was a great man, and he turned around. He made me feel good, because he turned around and said, "You got one hell of a voice on you, kid." Yeah. But I just didn't have the confidence. And
How?
but now I after 50 years, I'm actually singing.
Which is great.
I'm writing my own material.
Yeah.
And I'm playing guitar. And if somebody told me just last year, Rob, you're going to be doing it. This is what the world is like. This is how you survive. You don't know next week what you're going to do. You know, if you
Never
pick
give up.
something up,
Never give
if
up.
you pick something up, you walk down the street, you find something. There's a story in it. There's always something in something, and that's what you got to look how you tackle art. Is that you pick up even a bit of paper. There's something in this story. It's something that's going to start a new leaf in your life.
Sure.
People are looking for money. It's not the money. It's pick up that one thing and just ask yourself, what is this about? And you'd be amazed where that little journey will take you. And that's all I've got to say on that, because that's my survival. I pick up those little bits and they take me on another journey. And that's all it does, you know. That's all we all do as human beings, you know, is we pick up something and it's the next chapter in our life.
This is
I've got lovely children, and I love them and I adore them, and it's their freedom is my salvation. And I'm really grateful that I've had the great opportunity to have children, and I adore them, and I adore their mothers, and I adore the fact that there's freedom today. There's freedom in our families, and God bless every single Irish family out there, because I think the only way forward is the family. Doesn't matter who you are, what colour you are, what sex you are, whatever. Keep your family safe and look after yourselves.
Robert, thank you very much. On that note, I would say I've finished this third podcast part with you together, and dear people, you can find anything. Bye.
You have listened to ArTEEtude, West Cork's first art, fashion and design podcast. ArTEEtude, never so close again. That was too close.